Yo, what's good, YouTube? So I want to go over real quick how I was able to catch two plays on Thursday, 7/23/2026. I was able to catch 95% puts to the downside, and I was able to catch 130%, 133% actually to the upside. And so I want to show y'all what I was watching for the most part. Now, I will admit that on Thursday, I was a bit impatient because the market was taking a little bit longer than what I wanted it to be. The market is on its own time, and the market does not care about how I feel. Let's bring in the 5 minute RB. Okay. So what we're gonna do is like this was Thursday, and this is the opening candle. I always mark the high of the 5 minute candle and the low of the 5 minute candle. So this is the 5 minute range right here. And as you can see, we spent a lot of time inside this 5 minute range. And I usually do the 15 minute ORB as well. So I'll mark that as well. And this is pretty much the range that we were in for quite a while, as you can see. We was starting to close the gap. So we gapped down Thursday and we were starting to push up, and then we rejected right here. I knew we were going to reverse because on the 10 minute time frame, we had a fail to up on the 10 minute. So I knew the break of this candle to the downside. Let's open this up. I knew the break to the downside was going to be, trying to come back down to the downside. So I was already thinking, okay, well, we probably reverse down because we were actually in calls in my group. We was actually in calls to start this play, to start the day. We're above the VWAP, like right here for like the first 15 minutes. And then we, broke down here with this red candle and got up on the VWAP. So got stopped out on those because I was up like 30%. And I was trying to get a little bit more of the gap fill to the upside, but that's the risk we take, right? That's the risk we take. So once we got back up under this candle right here, and I started to realize like, okay, let me be a little bit more patient. Let me let this thing play out some more. So I drew this downtrend line right here, and I was just like, okay, as long as we stay underneath this, we're bearish, right? Now we end up getting in puts, and I was sitting there waiting for this low to break. So right here, they try to fake us out on this green candle right here. But the whole time, let me bring in the VWAP. We were staying below this VWAP. So we kept having those rejection candles. Anytime that I see long wicks at the top, I'm thinking, okay, the sellers are still in. They want to sell it off to come back lower. I had this as a target of lower of day, the lower ADR. I played to like right here on this candle right here to this red candle. From here, it took like literally like an hour and 20 minutes for this to actually break to the downside. Right here. Took an hour and 20 minutes to break this 15-minute range right here to the downside. And even then, like from here to here, it took a while for me and my contracts to start getting green because I was down like 20%, 30%. When we got as high as here, I was down like 35% right here at the peak. I was telling the group, I said, as long as we do not close above the VWAP, I'm going to stay in my puts. And as you can see, we ran into the VWAP, did not close above it right here on this candle. These two candles right here, we did not close above it. Once we had this green candle and then we rejected immediately with the red candle, I was really bearish. And so I was just had to be patient. We broke right here, the bottom of this 15-minute RB, the bottom of the 5-minute RB, and then we finally started to sell off. And so I got out like right here in this candle, 95% to the downside. I knew it was at a low. It was at a support level that I was just like, okay, now I'm looking for reversals to the upside because it took a while for this market to actually fall. One thing about the VWAP, which you'll learn over time when you backtest the VWAP, is think of a rubber band. You have the VWAP and think of like you stretching the rubber band, and then eventually it got to snap back to it. So once we start to create that separation right here, we start to expand from the VWAP. I knew I was like, I wanted to play back to the VWAP, and we did just that. I seen this fell to down right here on a 5-minute time frame. We had it on the 5-minute time frame and the 10-minute. A fail to down is like a bullish reversal sign. So I mean, I like to buy them as soon as they like sell off really hard, and then they start to find a reverse to the downside, back to the upside. I literally waited like 10 seconds before this candle actually closed. The entry was right here on this candle. Right there. That was my fill to down. and I got in before the candle closed. It was like probably 10, 15 seconds left before the candle closed. And I was like, this is going to close green, pretty much like a hammer. And I was like, I'm in. I told my people in the group, I was like, hey, let's get in calls. We got in calls back to the upside. From here, I said, we're going to play to the VWAP. From here to here, literally gave us 133%. And so when we pull back, once we pull back right here on this candle, this green candle right here, we ran up. I was up like 60%. It pulled back, and I connected that line to the downside. All I did was just say, hey, as long as we hold this trend line, we're good. I just want to play to VWAP. I literally got out right here at the VWAP, the blue line right here, and it ran past it. I could have got like 150-some%, but you got to know when enough is enough. Okay, there's going to be times where you know you need to take profit, but you're trying to get as much out of it as you possibly can, and they're going to reject on you hard, and you're going to get caught holding the bag. Well, I got out right here, and it went sideways, and you could have thought that it was going to come back to today's highs, but it got right back on the VWAP and then rejected right here. So got above VWAP, got up underneath it, rejected, came back down. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Start to break back to the upside. Boom, right? So this trend line, I was just waiting for this trend line to break. And I got out right here, and they went sideways for a second. They went up a couple of times, but I was already done. Enough was enough for me. And another thing that I was looking at right here, I connect this high and this high right here. I knew when we broke above this trend line, because you had this high, and once we got here, I was like, once we break above this line, we're definitely going to go to the upside. So use your trend lines. Trend lines are good. Use your EMAs as reference points. Use the EMAs as reference points, and you will definitely start to see it a lot over time. We were below the 9 EMA, we reclaimed above the 9, got back above the 20, and then we started to go higher. Now the 9 EMA was up underneath the VWAP from like this point on. It ran up, it stayed under the VWAP the whole day, bearish the whole time. So this was exactly how we made that, 95% to the downside, got out, caught 133% back to the upside. And this move right here was a lot faster. And I caught it perfect. Lesson of the day, use your trend lines, use your 15-minute range or your 5-minute range, the open range breakout. Look for separation from the VWAP and your EMAs, and eventually like they'll try to snap back to it. So that's what I use today. So when you're in the play, draw your trend lines. Same thing right here. If you're in puts, okay, this was a high point, and you're like, okay, I want to see this stay beneath this line. It's kind of steep, but once it breaks above, to get out. This is a sign of reversal. It's breaking back to the upside. Boom, boom. All right. And as far as your stop loss, if you'd have got in calls at the bottom, you could have got your stop loss right here at the very bottom. Let's put that in red. Or you can put it at the halfway mark, 50% of that candle. Or you can put it right just below the body of that candle. So you can do this as a stop loss, or this as a stop loss. As you can see, we never came close. Broke to the upside, took our money, and got up out of there. This is what we did Thursday. It was a great trade. It was a pretty easy day, actually. Other than that, man, if you're looking to join the group, please click the link in the description. SPX Blueprint is the group, and we are new, but we are doing so well over there. It's been 3 months, a little over 3 months. We got 66 members. That speaks for itself. We're growing really fast. I'm excited for the future, and I hope to see y'all over there. It's your boy D'Angelo Payne, and I'm out. Peace.